Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be going over how to boost your FPS in Fortnite. Having higher FPS has many benefits. With higher FPS, your game will look smoother, there will be less input delay, and overall, the higher your FPS, the easier the game will be to play, and the better you'll perform. Now, there are many factors that affect your FPS, so today I'm going to discuss the most significant and simple ways to boost your FPS. Just so you all know, these tips will apply to both PC and console, and they won't require any new downloads or sketchy programs. I'm going to split this video into two parts, things you can change outside of Fortnite, and then settings inside the game. So for all you console players here, the tips that apply most to you will be in that second in-game portion of the video. As always, I'll have timestamps in the description as well, so feel free to jump between different sections of the video as you see fit. Alright, with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Okay, so like I said, the first thing I'm going to touch on is settings you can change outside of Fortnite. Naturally, these are going to be more PC-based tips, and I have to apologize in advance because some of these tips are exclusive to NVIDIA graphics cards. But hopefully that isn't too big of a deal, considering the majority of PC players have NVIDIA hardware over AMD. Alright, the first tip I have for you all is a really cool program that not a lot of people know about, but if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, this program should be automatically installed. To open it up, just go to your desktop, then pull up the search bar in the bottom left and type in GeForce Experience. Once it pops up, press enter and the program should launch. If there isn't a GeForce Experience there, the first thing you should do is make sure you have an NVIDIA graphics card. To do that, just pull up the run command and then type in DXDIAG and hit enter. If you then navigate between the display tabs, you should be able to find an either NVIDIA or AMD graphics card. So if you see you have an NVIDIA card, but there's no GeForce Experience popping up, then you might just need to manually install it, which luckily is super easy to do, and I'll have the link to do that in the description below. Once you have GeForce ready and you're in it, you should be able to see all the games you have downloaded on your computer. What's really cool about this program is that it basically optimizes your in-game settings for you. So if you go to the Fortnite game and click the wrench icon, you should get a slider that lets you pick between graphics and performance. Since this video is about boosting your FPS, all you want to do is slide that circle all the way to the left towards the graphics end. And then what will happen is GeForce will move down all the basic settings in Fortnite for you to boost your FPS. If you haven't already changed your settings, this should have a major impact. So if you just hit play in the GeForce program and load up Fortnite with these settings, you might not even have to do anything else if you're happy with where your FPS is sitting after that. Remember though, what this does is change all your basic settings. So there are some more hidden ones that I will go over in the later portions of the video if you want to increase your FPS even more. One last thing with GeForce Experience you should know is they have a replay recording system which will decrease your FPS if it is running in the background. So make sure you disable that by clicking the gear icon in the top right and then hit disable in-game overlay. Another simple way to boost your FPS is by using the most recent graphics drivers. This tip might seem super basic, but you would be surprised how many people don't ever think about this. So to update your drivers, all you have to do is head over to whatever your GPU's website is and download their most recent driver update. I'll make it easier for you guys by linking AMD and NVIDIA down in the description below, but make sure you do that before proceeding on with the other steps. The last big thing you want to do outside of Fortnite to increase your FPS is close out all tasks that might be using up some of your GPU or CPU's processing power. I know though that since there are a lot of small tasks that run in the background, sometimes it can be hard to close everything out. So in my opinion, the best way to dedicate your CPU to Fortnite is by manually doing it through the task manager. Okay, so to do this, first pull up your task manager just like we did before. Then you want to find the process you want to optimize, and for you all it'll be Fortnite, but I'll just show how to do it here with Google Chrome. So once you're in the processes tab, right click on the process and then click go to details. Then you'll get pulled over to another page and Fortnite should be highlighted. You're going to right click it one more time and then set the priority to high. What this is going to do is it will dedicate your CPU's power to Fortnite before any other programs, so it will only give additional power to other applications once Fortnite is satisfied. This is going to keep your FPS at a constant level, which is really important for having smooth gameplay. Alright, that is going to cover all the things outside of Fortnite to boost your FPS. Now let's talk about your Fortnite settings. I'm going to try to run through this as quick as possible, but let me know if there's any confusion down in the comments below. If you followed the earlier bit with GeForce Experience, your game settings should look something like mine here, but I'll go over everything for those of you who didn't watch that first part or who don't have access to that method. For the most FPS, you obviously are going to want to turn all your quality settings to the lowest and make sure you play on full screen. For the purposes of this video, if you want to maximize your FPS, you can set the frame limit to something really high or even just go unlimited. If even with low settings though you aren't getting the FPS you want, you can drop your resolution as well to something lower. Now it's important to know that dropping your resolution is going to drop the amount of pixels displayed on the screen. So while having to display less pixels means your game will run faster, it also means that if you push your res down too far, at a certain point character models are going to start to get blurry, and that is going to make it more difficult to track people. So be careful with that setting. If we keep going here, you should have VSync and motion blur turned off. Below those two settings though, there's something that is really important. If you want a more detailed explanation of the history of this feature below and how it works, I'll have a video linked by Jarian in the description below that goes a little more in depth. But for the sake of this video, all you need to know is that this setting will significantly boost your FPS if you have multiple cores on your PC. To check if you do have multiple cores, simply open up your task manager and then go into the performance tab. If you see you have multiple cores, then feel free to go ahead and check this setting on, and it should give you a serious FPS boost. Otherwise, if you don't have multiple cores, you can just disregard the setting and keep it turned off. Now once we're done with this tab, make sure you apply your settings and then you can go on to the game tab. The last thing that affects your FPS is at the bottom here, and it is recording replays. Unless you are someone who actually uses Fortnite's replay feature, there's really no reason to have this setting on. All it's going to do for you is make your computer run harder and reduce your FPS by recording those replays. So make sure you have that turned off, and that should be it for your in-game settings. Alright guys, that is going to be all for ways to increase your FPS in this video. Hopefully these tips helped you out, and you should see a noticeable difference having made all these changes. If for some crazy reason you are still getting lag after trying all these tips, you might have some hardware issues that need to be investigated. But for the majority of you, this should be really all you need to get high FPS. Alright, thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I've noticed recently in my analytics that a lot of you who are watching my videos actually aren't subscribed, so make sure to subscribe if these videos are helping you out and if you're a recurring viewer. If you have any questions or want to say anything to me, feel free to leave a comment, and I try to respond to everyone, so hopefully I can get back to you. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Think about you, prepare to leave my body when the time it comes through.